I'm Tom Campbell from Cultaholic.com, joined by medical marvel Adam Pacitti.
I wasn't going to bring it up. Lots of vomit.
Oh, wait, you've been bringing a lot of... so I've heard. You've been poorly, boy, and everyone's wondering where you are.
Yeah, sorry, I've been migraines and vomiting and sweat and all of the other things that you want to hear about on Friday morning. Let's look at the news!
We'll start with the return of an injured NXT superstar. Vince McMahon has commented on the return of the Attitude Era. And are we getting a brand new NXT brand? We'll talk about it in a bit. So we welcome Tegan Knox back to NXT. Last night she was at a live event in Orlando, Florida. I was so happy to see those pictures of Tegan Knox in an NXT ring again after what we saw back in 2017.
She's had a rough time of it, hasn't she?
Really?
And she's so unbelievably talented. And she was going all out. I saw a video of her doing a crossbody off the top rope. Pretty impressive stuff. Somebody just coming back.
You just got to go for it. You've got to just cut off all your inhibitions and just work again like you did before.
Expert advice from one Tom Campbell. Listen to that, Tegan.
The Greg-sponsored athlete, Tom Campbell, right here.
So this poses a question to me, and maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. But does this mean that she's going to be at NXT TakeOver Cardiff? I know she's not on NXT UK, but like, it's her hometown.
I really thought that we would see her in the title match.
Yeah, there's still time. That's been advertised, hasn't it? That's Kaylee Ray versus Tony Storm.
Tony Storm. But it would be nice to have seen, I know that the cards haven't fallen this way, but it would be nice to have seen the Tegan Knox win the belt in Cardiff. Hometown girl and all that stuff done good. But I think she'd be a fit there. I think it'd be foolish if you've got an incredible Welsh wrestler healthy on your roster to not send her to NXT UK Cardiff. She could just turn up on the night as a surprise. That pop would be something else.
Oh, 100%.
Oh.
But there's also still time to make it triple threat, isn't there?
I think so.
They taped all the stuff at Download. I think they might be taped up to the day.
They have, but they can always tweak stuff.
Just do a William Regal promo, not a Johnny Saint promo. Sid Scala, Johnny Saint doesn't talk at all ever.
Johnny Saint just waves at the moment. Presumably just stretches people.
Tell him, Sid. I love him. I think it's so funny. Well, it's great to see her back. She was in a 6-man tag, or a 6-woman tag, rather, which is sensible because it protects her as well. She doesn't have to do too much. Big flurry of babyface fire. Yeah, I think she's brilliant. And in WCPW, she was the first WCPW Women's Champion. And she was, you could just tell by looking at her, there's somebody that's going to go far. Star power. Fantastic.
Love your work, Tegan. Welcome back. I can't think of a more awkward phone call outside of the Lionel Richie video, Hello, than the quarterly phone call that Vince McMahon had with the investors of the WWE.
It doesn't sound too fun.
Oh, how are the ratings? Oh, they're down. How's the money? Oh, that's down. How's the merch sales? That's
live events. We got a new network.
I bought a new tie. So some rough numbers out of the quarterly call, but a few questions that were fired at Vince McMahon during the Q&A, and there was talk about whether on the cards there was a return to the Attitude Era, that kind of style of smash mouth, more adult style wrestling. And Vince McMahon pretty much put the kibosh on that, didn't he, Adam Pacitti?
He did. The quote here is, "We're going to be a bit edgier, but remain within the PG environment." Obviously, PG sponsors are so important to them. "We're not going to go back to the Attitude Era or do blood and guts." I don't remember guts so much for sure. Or things of that nature, as is being perhaps done by a potential new competitor. We're not going to go back to that crap we graduated from. That crap that got you more viewers than ever before.
Yeah.
That crap that made you the hottest product, second to South Park.
Heaven forbid that you go back to a time where lots of people were watching the programme. I know the world has changed a lot since then, but even so, I think he was making a lot of reference to AEW doing blood and guts. And he mentions it a couple of times in the Q&A where he talks about how AEW does all the gory things. Like, I watched a lot of AEW. There's a bit of blood.
Sure, I mean, you
quite
had
a lot on Dustin's face.
Yeah, you had the Moxley hardcore stuff. I guess that's where they're getting at, thumbtacks is stuff. But you've seen that in the PG era. Jericho took that bump on thumbtacks, I remember.
Exactly.
They've done it as well. I don't think they're doing much more, with the exception of, I guess, the chair shot to the head, which was gimmicked. So, there's a big controversy around that. That's, I think, a reasonable point. To me, this is... I didn't like the wording here, the going back to that crap. It's like, I'd rather Val Venus getting his knob chopped off than the Revival getting their back shaved. That's just don't pretend that your product has matured so much, because it really hasn't. With the exception of maybe women being taken more seriously as athletes, it's still a lot of the time the same old kind of, I don't want to say cartoonish, but it's not highbrow, is it? A lot of WWE stuff.
I think, though, that this is Vince McMahon, who was in a bit of a bad mood last week anyway. He went to the SmackDown live show, and within hours before the show started, just threw out a load of stuff. Just rewrote a load of stuff.
4 hours, I believe.
Was it really?
Yeah, 4 hours is what I read.
It was all this, and so he's in a foul mood about all this week, and I guess a lot of people, he was ready to get a question or two about AEW. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like when you're ready for somebody to say something, you've already had the conversation in your head 100 times. So he sounds like he was quite angry about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I believe that he has acknowledged them as potential competitors.
Okay.
Triple H has, Stephanie has. Vince, to say that, I know he's not saying they're competitors, but potential new competitors is actually, I think, quite a big deal. And obviously he is starting to take them seriously, and they'll be adjusting their programming accordingly, I would argue.
Vince McMahon finds himself in the twilight zone, preparing to deal with television of a wrestling variety of an explosive theme on a Turner channel. Welcome back.
I can't wait.
Do you know what I think we need in this era of wrestling, Adam Pacitti?
A return to the Attitude Era.
Well, no. I mean, nothing wrong with watching Val Venus get his pecker pulled off. No, I think we
Wasn't pulled off. Yeah, carry on. Pulley pee-pee. I don't remember being there. Go on.
That was the line. I want to see more wrestling, Adam Pacitti.
Oh, God,
Loads more wrestling, because there's not enough. Like, I sometimes find that at the end of a week, I've maybe got 35 minutes to spend with loved ones. I could fill that with more wrestling. Good job, then, that there is high rumblings of another NXT brand, sir. August the 7th to the 9th, WWE are going to be in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, holding tryouts for Canadian performers. Now, normally what they do, for anybody who is sort of North America, they will get them to travel to the Performance Centre and do the tryouts there. This is the first time they've done a tryout in Canada. Now, obviously, you could say it is because it's the run-up to SummerSlam, which is being held in Toronto, and it's a bit of like a takeover of Canada almost, if you will. But there's also a lot of speculation that we are very far along in the process of launching NXT Canada.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I don't tend to watch NXT UK on a weekly basis. When I do, I really enjoy it, but it's one of those things, there is just too much wrestling. It's very much part of WWE's plan to sign everybody, everywhere, and to get them under some sort of contract. If they really, really like them, then put them up to big boy NXT or the main roster or whatever. But they just want everybody on their books, because now there is legitimate potential competitors. I think it's been rumoured for a long time. We've seen NXT Germany has been rumoured. There's been tryouts there recently. NXT China's been rumoured. There's been tryouts there for, I think, the first time ever, or it hasn't happened many times if it has. I'm not surprised. There's one potential name being thrown around as a possible coach or even head coach for this, and that's... I went the wrong way there.
Trish Stratus and Finalama, CM Punk and AEW. Those two words going together a lot at the moment, and CM Punk genuinely is fed up with it.
I think a lot of people are fed up. Yeah, a lot of people are fed up with it. It wouldn't be a news video without it, so let's get on with it.
Exactly. So CM Punk was on ESPN. He was talking about his StarCast appearance, and they're like, "Oh, so how did it come about?" And CM Punk was like, "Well, they asked me, and I said yes." And CM Punk's in this really awkward situation where he feels that, and I'll actually quote him just so we know, I don't know how to reply to them sometimes, referring to Cody and the board of AEW. Because if I reply, they do interviews and they're like, "Oh yeah, I just talked to Punk. I'm kind of damned if I do and damned if I don't." I always think if somebody wants to do business with me, they can come talk to me. Texting offers isn't really a way to do good business. You say that, but Adam Pacitti sent me a text with a load of emoji money bags on, and here we are.
That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
He seems fed up, doesn't he? He seems pissed off by it.
He doesn't. He's not bothered.
Yeah, I mean, it further sort of hints that no, it's not happening. And I don't want to just sit here and speculate or anything. I just think it was funny that he was just like, I wish they just stopped talking about it because I don't really fancy it. Just leave it. And all you dirt sheets, just leave it.
Another part of that which made me laugh, and he was just asked about his relationship with AEW further. He said, if I text Matt Jackson, hey, have a great show tonight, which I did when they had their show in Vegas, that somehow turns into Tony Khan telling people he has a great relationship with me. Do you know what that's like? That's like, this is a true story. This is a true story from years and years ago when I went to an TNA Impact taping in Orlando, Florida.
Lucky boy.
I know, right? And I was chatting to some of the people outside, and this guy, and he might be watching Cultaholic. If so, hi, nice to see you again.
Hello, Mr. Borat.
Oh, if only it was my boy JB. And this guy came up, he said, oh yeah, I know, I watch Impact all the time, I know some of the wrestlers. I said, oh yeah, do you? Yeah, I know SoCal Val, her real name's SoCal Valerie. It gets better. I was like, how do you know SoCal Val? Oh, I follow her on Bebo.
What year was this, Tom?
2007.
Jesus.
I'm old.
Yeah, no, I remember Bebo, the little whiteboards and the one heart a day goes out to SoCal Val every day, that man.
I like to think that Tony Khan is going to people, yeah, I know CM Punk, he follows me on Twitter. Thanks for watching. I haven't got an outro. Here's a healthier Adam Pacitti in an ill-fitting t-shirt.
Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.